So as I'm wrapping up the review on the Nitro RX 460, I wanted to do a bit of a teardown because I wanted to see some of the components and take some pictures of the PCB itself for the review, as well as some video. But what we're going to do today is we're going to tear this card down, and I figured I would bring you guys along for the journey. So one of the things about the Nitro card is even the 460 features their fan check technology, where you can check the fan. If it's good, if it's bad, you can replace just one of the fans. So we're just showing you how with this one, unlike the 470 and 480, there are two screws and it just comes right out. There's a small clip there and the fan just comes right out like that. And you can see the heatsink up under it, which is one of the good things about being able to do this is if you're doing regular maintenance as far as cleaning your case out and you're de-dusting everything, this makes it really easy to clean the heatsink off really, really well. The one thing, now I will say, the one thing I'm not a fan of really is how small these screws are and how they've got to go down in between there. So as long as you've got a really small screwdriver that's even slightly magnetic, you should be okay. But I know how some people are about magnets and electronics. But here you can see the heatsink very clearly through it, as well as the surrounding PCB. Now, the biggest reason I took those out first was just to show you how to do it, as well as make sure that I don't damage fans while maneuvering stuff around, which is kind of nice to be able to do. So we're going to go ahead and flip it over. And I already know that these two are to a heatsink plate, and these four are for the main heatsink for the GPU. So those will come off last. First, we're going to remove the shroud by removing all of the surrounding screws. So we'll start here at this corner. And just for sake of video, we'll turn the card around so that everything's not upside down to you guys viewing at home. I do apologize for blocking that with my arm, but that's just how it goes sometimes. Alright, so move that screw, and we're just going to work our way around here. It's a fairly simple card to disassemble. There's not a whole lot of extra stuff. It's not very complicated. I was able to look at it and kind of see what order everything needed to come apart instead of fiddling with it and fighting with one component, trying, disconnecting the main heatsink and thinking that it's all going to come apart. So this is the shroud is now disconnected, and we're going to flip it over, and the fan header is right here. There it goes. Alright, so that is the plastic shroud for the heatsink. You can see the two separate headers going apart for the fans and the connector clip. So let's go ahead and move the shroud out of the way, and we can see the card itself. And you can see the card is quite large, and this now makes the heatsink look rather small, but it's still more than adequate with the two heat pipes for cooling a smaller 75 watt TDP card. So now that we've got that out of the way, we're going to go ahead and disconnect the main heatsink. I'm going to go with this side first. No particular reason other than, well, I just kind of felt like it. And we'll go release corner by corner. Last screw, and it should kind of just fall away. Alright, so that is it as far as that heatsink goes. And let's see what it's going to take to get it to disconnect, because it appears to be connected to the memory modules as well. Yes, there are heatsink or thermal pads on the memory modules. You can see one still stuck to the heatsink here, which we'll just leave that one flat so that whenever we put it back. Now this is interesting. It actually has a copper slug in the middle for the thermal compound. It's so tiny. Set that to the side there so you can still see it, and we're going to go ahead and remove this so that we can pretty much take the whole thing down. And it appears they did a really good job of thermal paste application. There's not any real spillover, and it seemed to be quite competent in its connection there. So let's see what they've got under here. They appear to use a little bit of a sticky, thermal padding similar to what they used on the memory modules, connecting the 4 VRMs. And there you have it. That is the torn down version of the RX 460, and I am going to use, and I know somebody out there is going to yell blasphemy, but I'm using a piece of toilet tissue here to clean this off, clean off the bulk, and we'll finish it off with some isopropyl 90% alcohol. Just kind of clean that off real good, get a good look at it. Alright, so there you have it, guys. There is the torn down card. Let's zoom in and take a good look at that PCB. Well, there you have it, guys. That is the RX 460 Nitro being torn down, and well, now you can see what's under the hood. Alright, if you found this video entertaining or informative, feel free to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you all in the next one.